switch engine, an 060 built by Paloma Motor Works. Our coaches date back to the 1920s. You're welcome to open windows. If you ask, please do be very careful with the windows. They're heavy windows, and you have to keep hands, arms, heads, and sideways. During the ride, we do ask you to remain seated at all times. Our railroad yard here dates back to 1851. Used to belong to the Dunmore and Lackawanna Western Railroad. One of the main purposes for our yard here was to maintain and do light repairs on the steam locomotives and later on the diesels. Switch tracks. In order to do so, we have to stop the train here past the switch. Our trainman has gotten off the back of the train. He's going to walk out and throw the switch by hand. So we back up. We're going to move on to a different track. Outside your window, you'll see these concrete rings. These are from the diesel era. These rings at one time surrounded the steel oil tanks, which would have been on the inside. For the diesel fuel, in case of a leak or spill, they can contain it in one place and move the oil over to the next tank. Bell there. When they operate inside the railroad yard, they ring the bell. People know the engine's very close. And when he blows the whistle, each whistle has a different meaning depending on how many times they blow the whistle. So we should get 3 whistles very soon, which means we'll be backing up. Backing up here in a moment, you see the tall concrete silo for sand. Sand was used on the trains. In case of slippery conditions, they actually pipe the sand down, put a dome on top of the engine, down below the wheels, get a better grip on the track. In case of rain or ice or snow, or sometimes when you're starting a heavy train, the wheels tend to slip. They pipe sand down below the locomotive wheels. Modern trains today still use sand. Outside the locomotive repair shop. This is the oldest building in the park, dating back to 1865. All the major work was done on the steam locomotive. The minor adjustments were done in the roundhouse. Alongside the walkway up to the shopping mall, this walkway, you can take the walkway to the food court on the second floor. Now the walkway stands in the same location the old coal trestle used to be. In fact, the walkway is about the same length as the old coal trestle. It's back coal cars up to the top, and bring the engine alongside and load the tender for coal. Whistles there because we're going to cross the walkway. We have crossing, we have 4 whistles. See outside the steam locomotive 4012, that's known as the Big Boy. It's the largest steam locomotive in our collection. One of the largest locomotives ever built. Dates back to 1941, was built by American Locomotive Company in Schenectady, New York. They built 25 big boys, all for Union Pacific Railroad out west, Wyoming and Utah. Big boy weighs in at 600 tons, including the tender. And about 134 feet in length, including the couplers. It will not fit on our turntable. Our table is only 90 feet in length. In case anybody may be interested, they are restoring a Big Boy back to service. Union Pacific Railroad has it out, Cheyenne, Wyoming. And by this time next year, it should be running. Steamtown also shares a railroad yard in the tracks with the local freight company. We have a company for the Tennessee Valley Transportation. They're out of upstate New York. They own several small railroads. They run this one here in the Scranton area. They run between Steamtown and Delaware Water Gap, about 60 miles east. They also go from Scranton up to Carbondale, about 16 miles north. Three whistles are headed backwards. also some of these electric locomotives belong to the freight company. And here we're moving to the west end of the railroad yard. Just passing now the switching tower from the 1950s. At one time there were so many trains going back and forth in the yard, it was dangerous to have people on the ground. They automated the switching process. The person up on the third floor to look out the windows of the train coming in with these big levers, and it moved the switches. It was dramatic. Air-powered switches. Down below us we have a railroad track that now belongs to the county. It used to be Delaware and Hudson Railroad years ago. Under the center of our bridge we've got the Lackawanna River. That's where the railroad got part of its name from. See our conductor outside. He's waving his signals to the engineers, signaling to back up. And here below the west end of the bridge, we have a walking trail. And that walking trail is now part of the Rails to Trails program. That's where tracks used to be years ago for the Central Railroad in New Jersey. And under the bridge here, when it crossed away, and across the street, you see the old freight station. Just above the walking trail, between the poles, you can see these wires hanging down. They're called telltales. In the early 1900s, they were still making the transition from the old brakes, the wheels on top of the cars, over to the air brakes. So we had some of the old cars still in operation when this bridge was built in 1908. So if the brakeman was on top of the train, and he was looking the other way, you feel those wires hit in the back, you know to duck real quick because the bridge was right here. Once again, across the street is the old freight station, the Central Railroad, New Jersey. Kind of hidden by the trees a little bit here. Large brick building with a turret on top. That dates back to the late 1800s. We have to coordinate with the dispatcher. The dispatcher's office is up in the switching tower here. Since we have a couple other trains in the yard today, sometimes the switches are not in our favor. Sometimes we have to stop and wait and throw the switches. Bus station. And you'll notice the railroad track going through the center of this parking lot. As the connection, it takes a train from Scranton up to Cargill. connecting track called the Strawberry Hill Branch. At one time where the parking garages for the mall in the 1800s, the Lackawanna Railroad had a passenger and freight station here. Just on the opposite side of the street, near where the traffic signal is, the Delaware and Hudson had a passenger station. It's very slight, you may not notice it much, but we are climbing a hill. So whether we leave Scranton going east or west, tracks climb a hill. The average grade on this line is about 1.5%, which means for every 100 feet we go forward, we climb 1.5 feet. And now below us here, you've got the City of Scranton Police Station. Where that police station stands, that's where the original foundry was back in 1865. The foundry was an important building. That's where the parts for the steam locomotive are made. A lot of parts of the steam locomotive were custom made or custom fit to that particular series of locomotives. So if parts broke, you didn't go back to the manufacturer, you actually made them in-house. Steam locomotives are great when they worked. That was about 50% of the time. The other half was in the repair shop or roundhouse. In the 1800s, early 1900s, the railroads were somewhat short-sighted in that they were competing with each other, and they didn't want the same exact locomotive the next guy had. So the chief mechanic for each railroad would draw up the blueprints of what engines they wanted, and they were more or less custom built. So again, when they had to replace parts, they had to do them here in foundries in the railroad yard. It took a lot of work, employed a lot of people. And in the 1940s, 1950s, we transitioned from steam over to diesel electric. In the diesel electric, they built thousands of the same model diesel engine. And standard parts, interchangeable parts. Probably had a couple switches ahead of us that might have been against us. Does everybody in our train know how a steam locomotive works? What do we need to put inside our locomotive to make it run? That's right, water. And we need a fuel, could be wood or oil or possibly coal. Our steam locomotive today is running on coal. It's running on soft coal known as bituminous coal. After this a little bit of dust or smoke, if you get any coal dust on you, just shake it off. Don't brush it in. That's obviously to attract most of the people that wear white shirts. First, put the coal in the firebox. Heat the water up, make it boil, and as that steam expands, it moves the parts on the engine and pushes the wheels around. Now, does everybody here understand how a diesel-electric locomotive works? Kind of a trick question. Of course, the answer is in the name. Is a hybrid. We have a number of diesel electric locomotives in our railroad yard. Just imagine a gigantic Toyota Prius built by American Locomotive Company or General Motors. Then you have our diesel electric engine. It's a big motor inside, like a truck motor. And it does not drive the wheels directly. There is not a transmission per se like you have in a car or truck. What it does, it spins a generator. And that makes electricity. And that's wired down to the wheel sets, so we have electric motors in between the wheels on the diesel electric engine. This building we're passing next to now is the locomotive repair shop from 1909. The one in the park that we currently use dates back to 1865. Well, back in 1865, the average steam locomotive weighed about 30 tons. By the time this building here was built in 1909, the average steam locomotive weighed about 110 to 120 tons. This is a big repair center for the last a lot of since the late 1940s. Out of the steam business, switching over to diesel electric, they sold this complex to the U.S. military. So a couple different contractors in there. Today's contractor is General Dynamics. Here we're going to pass next to the Radisson Hotel. And the Radisson Hotel at one time was the passenger station for the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad. Built between 1905 and 1908. When completed in 1908, it had 5 stories to it. They added a 6th floor in 1926. And the upper floors are actually offices for the railroad. Bookkeeping, records, engineering department. Building operated as the station until 1970. That was the last passenger train in town, 1970. It's been a hotel since 1983. University of Scranton. At one time was known as St. Thomas Aquinas School. Alongside our train on the north side, on your left direction of travel, is here putting some new track in. We have a couple walkways across the track along the listen for. And here behind the university, we're still technically inside the railroad yard. So the yard extends all the way up here behind the University of Scranton. Okay, you folks know where this is at? This is as far as $5 takes you. Tracks beyond this point are owned by somebody else. They're actually owned by the county and maintained by the freight operator. That means if we go beyond this point, we have to pay rent. $5 doesn't work. As you back down the hill, you look out your windows to the right-hand side, you'll see the south side of Scranton. Like a good portion of the town, the south side of Scranton was where the workers lived. People that worked in the coal mines and on the railroads, the factories, the silk mills. Up above the University of Scranton is what was known as the hill section. That's where the money was years ago. Like the old saying, it depends on what side of the tracks you come from. Down below our train here you can see a stream, that's Roaring Brook. Native American name for Roaring Brook is Nayab. Roaring Brook flows behind the park and into the Lackawanna River. We've got a lot of rain the past week, so we've had some issues with track washouts further east of the park. And that's one reason why the trolley is not operating this weekend, is because of track washouts. Down below now we'll see the soccer field. That soccer field at one time was a small freight yard where they stored boxcars. They used to interchange freight between the railroad and the trolley line for local delivery. Just beyond the soccer field, you see the little wooden station stop. Just past that, there's a pavilion. Under the pavilion are what's left of the old Scranton iron furnaces. 1842, George and Selden Scranton opened up blast furnaces here to make iron product. Used to make nails and tools and railroad tracks. And they built the railroad in 1851 to support the iron business. Later on, they would transport people and coal. Alongside our train, we've got this concrete wall. This wall at one time used to support the passenger tracks, which were a little bit more elevated than the freight tracks. Building at the end here is a bunch of doctor's offices today, but that was the old Railroad Express building. You sent a package years ago, you didn't send it by Amazon or UPS, you sent it by Railroad Express. The little switching tower here, Madison Street Tower, belongs to the park. And it will control the tracks going up alongside the station. Extend all the way through the back of the park. They took most of the wall out back in 1993 to make room for the shopping mall. When they blow the whistle on the train or blow the horn on the diesel, that noise will travel for several miles, giving people plenty of time to get out of the way of the train. Imagine how noisy a railroad yard like this was 60, maybe 70 years ago, with lots of trains going in and out. That's the reason for the bell. Because if you're close enough to hear that bell, you have to be pretty close. You knew the train was right there. Some of the products the freight company hauls, of course, lumber. There's several lumber dealers on the line. Grain, there's a big grain plant up at Mount Pocono in service. Propane, gravel, sand, also water. behind the diesel engine. That was the conductor's office on the freight train years ago, before we had radios and computers. He had to do his homework. He had to do all his paperwork to keep track of all the cars on the train. The conductor's in charge of everybody and everything on the train. Lackawanna Railroad was not the only railroad in town here. Years ago, we also had the Central Railroad in New Jersey, Delaware and Hudson Railroad, New York, Ontario, and Western, and also the Erie all came into Scranton, Pennsylvania. We traveled a few miles south to Wilkes-Barre. We also have the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Lehigh Valley Railroad. And all these railroads are coming into the area because of the coal. The local coal is known as anthracite or hard coal. Unlike the soft coal we're using in our nation today, hard coal burned very clean and very hot. It's very popular in industry and homes. So our engineer is pulling double duty. He's also throwing switches as well. About 85% of the world's anthracite coal is found here in eastern Pennsylvania. If you were to take out a road map and follow Interstate 81, just a few miles north of Scranton, all the way down into Lebanon County, just above Harrisburg, that's where the hard coal is located. Own the coal mine, like the good. Yeah, work in the mine, not so much. Many folks in this area work in the coal mines. They struggle. If you're lucky, you're able to get a railroad job where you can actually get a decent pay. And the ladies went to work in the silk mills. There were numerous silk mills in the Lackawanna and Wyoming Mountains. Back at Trolley Museum, if you look at the back of the building as you go across the bridge, you'll see it says United Silk Mills. We have a section of track known as the Y. Rail split, one goes north, one goes south. Out of view here behind the U-Haul station, we have the main line track for the Norfolk Southern Railroad. Years ago that track used to be Lackawanna track. We're going to go out on that Y onto the main line track. We can head north to Binghamton, west to Buffalo, or go south, down towards Allentown and out towards Harrisburg. here to have some model trains at home. Just imagine having the resources to own the real thing. That's how our collection got started. A gentleman by the name of Nelson Blount, Rhode Island, as a young boy, used to live down the street from the railroad yard. He was a train man early on. Very smart man, got his education, built his family's company into a multi-million-dollar corporation. He was in the right place at the right time. As the railroads get rid of the old locomotives and cars, he bought them. Put together a big collection up in North Falmouth, New Hampshire back in 1958. He and his volunteers moved across the river to Bellow Falls, Vermont in 1963. Nelson passed away in 67, but his volunteers kept the collection going. Continued to offer train rides. In 1984, they moved to Scranton, Pennsylvania. In 1986, donated the collection of trains to the National Park Service. If anybody wants to know how many trains we have lots of trains. We have 26 steam locomotives on the property. This is the only one that's operational, number 26. We're hoping in about 2 to 3 years to get a big engine in the shop back in operation, number 3713, Boston, Maine. A lot of pieces will be restored cosmetically for appearance, for show over time. We have over 40 cars, between freight cars, passenger cars. We have a couple of diesel electric locomotives that belong to the park. We have several that belong to volunteer groups that work with us. You can see some of the track repair equipment. I'm sure we'll be using some of this over the next couple weeks to repair some of those washouts. Old locomotives, 3377 here, dates back to 1919. As you're backing into the roundhouse, behind the green worker shed here, you'll see the rotary snowplow. A giant snowblower powered by steam. Dates back to the 1890s. So I'll ask everybody please remain seated. And in a few moments, you're going to come to a stop. We'll get the one whistle once the brakes are set. Okay, folks, I ask you please stay seated for just a moment. We'll let the car behind us empty out, and we'll follow them.